evaluation of the legacy of New York City Breakers in relations to the next level that happened in the 90s.
Exactly.
That felicitated the things that we have right now.
Right, exactly.
Okay. What happened was that breaking was from the streets, and now it became very political. It's into the politics, and that's why they did that to us in the Olympics.
Well, that had something to do with it.
That's not just the only one, but that's one of the many factors. There's a few.
Yeah, let me just add to that, because to me, I think for me, the way I see it is, you were back to Mecca, right? And what was Back to Mecca about? We brought in all the real OGs, right? Don Campbell, Boogaloo Sam,
the first of its kind.
Fred Berry.
No one was doing that before then,
right? And then who do you see? All the original rockers. Before we got into this this is before where breaking came from rocking, right?
Yeah.
And then who did you see? Rocksteady, Dynamic, who weren't together, New York City Breakers, right? Magnificent Four, sitting on that panel all together, right? All the OG graffiti writers from Phase 2, the Coco 144,
There was
the
even
Flipper,
West Coast heads.
right? So to me, it was always about educating people. And what always bothered me, like, I thought we answered a lot of questions back then. And today, I felt like I wanted to honor not just New York City Breakers, but the Floor Masters. Eastside Juniors, Seven Deadly Sins.
Absolutely needed.
Right? Bro, to see Normski there.
That was phenomenal.
Come on, man. Little Alex. Flip Rock.
I was about to say to see Flip Rock. I'm like, yo,
Right?
Flip Rock is here. This is crazy.
All the real talk.
Yeah.
So, so to me, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes to our legacy, I think that we try to show, like Ashley was saying, respect for all of our peers and people that came before us, and that the generation today or in the 2000s, they were like, we don't want to do that. We want to make it about ourselves. And now that these guys are considered OGs, and this new generation, all they're hearing is about themselves. Like, yeah, I did this, I did this. At the end of the day, this wasn't built by one person.
Yeah. We have to take the selfishness out of breaking.
That's correct.
You know, we have to definitely take that out of breaking.
I think when it comes to the historical part of it, anyway, at least that.
Oh, that's just one of the aspects.
But I'm saying if we can just do that, I think I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, me too.
Because you know what? Again, how do you take credit for something that you didn't do? Like, I could never sit there and say I created the continuous headspin. You know, Kid Free slept in my house. This kid invented that. Like, you know, like, and just to see him again today, every time I see him, I have so much appreciation. And he was from another crew. He was from another crew. He wasn't from my crew. You know what I'm saying? But we broke bread. Yeah, bro, we broke bread. He slept in my house. I slept in his. Like, are you serious? Like, the respect is not there anymore. And I think that's a big issue and a big problem.
Absolutely.
I think that with the respect aspect of it, it goes back to the old saying, to get respect, you first have to give respect. And for some of the new generations, they see the OG, like, so I'll say it like this. A lot of these younger cats don't do their homework. They're just being taught by whoever is new today. And their teachers.
Being taught.
Yeah, well, that too.
Because a lot of guys don't aren't not even taught the history. When I came up, I learned the history. When I started breaking, I knew like a fanatical amount of information on you guys.
Well, because like, all right, so I'll say this,
That's
right?
where we came up.
Although none of y'all really met me, but every single one of y'all are my teachers because of the movie Beat Street. I'm a suburban kid, born and raised, proud of it. I was watching Beat Street on beta.
Wow.
All right, I'm born in 84, so that's like 89, watching it on beta.
Wow.
Rewinding it, rewatching it. This guy here was like, because I became taller, I'm like, yo, Flip Rock got like the cleanest round in there. I'm like, yo, that joint is freaking ill, right? And so to
Flip
me,
Rock, you are not the father.
So, but I watched every single one of you, like your windmills, when the way how you came out, like every single one of you, the attitude, the display, and from both of y'all, both Rocksteady and New York City Breakers, like B Street is what I grew up on. That's how I learned how to
I
break.
appreciate that, brother.
You know, so if I am to say, like I can say literally I have no teachers, but then again, y'all pretty much were my teachers because I rewinded it, and then played it.
You and a million other kids.
Exactly.
I get that same story all the time.
You know?
And dude, let me tell you something. It doesn't get old. Like people come up to me. I was just telling a good friend of mine today. It's funny how like after I stopped dancing, I became a bodybuilder, and here I am at a bodybuilding show, getting ready to come out. I've been training for a good 15 years already, winning championships. And this one guy comes up to me, and I'm waiting for him to say something that has to do with bodybuilding. He goes, "You're Chino Action from the New York City Breakers." And here I am all pumped up, getting ready. And I'm like, dude, are you serious right now?
That's a good story. Love it.
I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? He goes, yo, I can't. We were here with two jacked guys all greased up. And he's like, dude, you were amazing. I loved you. I'm like, dude, okay, keep it
I
down.
love it. That's awesome.
Nice, you know.
So, you know, it doesn't get old, man. And listen, I'm pretty sure all my brothers here have been through that. You know, so when someone tells me something like that, like what you just said, you have no idea what that means.
But you know what, man? At the end of the day, unfortunately, no matter what it is that you're involved in your life, whether it be b-boying, whether it be martial arts, etc., the fact of the matter is there's pros and cons in everything. There's always going to be some level of resistance.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just unequivocal, and it's also inevitable. But at the end of the way, for me, the takeaway are the experiences. You know, lifelong experiences that are going to be forever etched in our minds as well as in our hearts. I mean, that's just one of many, many testimonials of just wonderful experiences. And the fact that none of us, when we first got into this, by the way, we didn't actually go in there with the intent or the intention that we were working on. We were going to have this massive global impact on people from all walks of life.
Yeah, well, see, and that's the thing.
You know,
Like,
that was just one of those residual royalties that came out from the experience of us just being young people, you know, very passionate, and we just had a great love for what we were doing because it was very much a part of our urban culture and our urban environment.
yeah, and I'm gonna be real. Like I said about him with B Street, you was also B Street, but you, Kid Nice, right?
Yeah.
When I heard that story, when you're like, yeah, man, I came across this other guy, I like his name, so I battled him for it. One, got his name. It's like, yo, that's ill, bro. Like that's mad ill.
And
Like,
that's how it was back then, man.
Yo, but
That
I'm
was
gonna tell
cool.
you something,
That was
bro.
cool.
I mean, the OGs are mad because another thing is that it was their era. They started it. It's the era. We just unfortunately got lucky.
Fortunate.
Fortunate. And
Fortunate.
got lucky in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a matter of timing.
Yes.
Wait,
It's a matter of timing.
I gotta disagree. I don't think we were lucky at all.
No.
No, you're wrong.
No, it
I'm
was
sorry.
our era.
No, listen. I love you, brother. You're wrong. We worked our asses off.
Yeah.
And we got what we deserved. We everything that we did, we deserved. There were times that we did shows for free. We performed for free many a times before we got paid. Why? Because we loved it. There was a time we got our first gig. Ed Sullivan Theater. What year was that, London?
83.
The Merv Griffin Show.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how important it is for someone to dance on the Ed Sullivan Theater?
Magnitude.
That's right. Yeah.
You know how much?
Wait, Ed Sullivan or Merv Griffin?
It was
Merv
the Ed,
Griffin
no.
Show.
It was the Ed Sullivan Theater, the Merv Griffin Show.
I remember as a kid watching that performance.
Yes.
of
Okay.
Merv Griffin.
So
You know,
now
Merv Griffin's platform
That
was
was
a
huge.
big deal.
It was a Johnny
Exactly.
Carson
Yeah.
at this
Big
time.
It was like the biggest thing.
he was
Yeah.
the Johnny
Biggest thing,
Carson.
yeah.
He was the David Letterman.
Yeah.
Like he was the one, right?
Yeah.
So now Michael calls me and says, "Yo, we got the gig.
Wow.
We had no uniforms. So me and him got together. He goes, yo, Chino, let's go to Manhattan. We're gonna lay out a cardboard. Now listen closely. Nobody ever did this before. We laid out cardboard in front of the Cats Theater, the Winter Garden Theater, and we danced for 7-8 hours. We had sores, cuts. We made about $400 or $500 that day, and I took all that money and I bought us uniforms, put our name on it
That's awesome.
for that show.
That's awesome.
But what's also important about that show was it was phase 2 that got us.
He got us the gig.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, but I'm gonna say,
That's awesome.
as a leader, also, that, like he just said, I had that idea, of starting the crew, I had that idea of going to dance in the middle of the streets to make the money for our uniform.
Yeah, he was like, why don't we just go perform, lay out a hat, and I'm like,
Bringing it back to the basics.
Early hitting.
but wait a minute,
Early
now,
hitting.
after we did that, fast forwarding a couple of years, do you have any idea how many times I went to Manhattan and I saw groups of kids doing that?
Yes.
To this day, I see kids doing that just to make a couple of bucks, whether it's to
The
eat or
beginning
to
levels of hitting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the
Street
beginning
hitting.
levels of hitting.
Street hitting.
And let me
right?
tell you something. I've watched people, like, they're in a rush and they stop
Right.
to see us.
just to see what we were doing. We had circles of people.
And who are the executives? These were like secretaries.
Yeah.
These weren't like mom and pops. These were people that were going to work
The
in
business
Manhattan,
people.
the business
Yeah.
district. Yeah.
And here's another thing too, that I was a bicycle rider, BMX rider,
Yeah.
and I traded my bike for a boombox just so we could go dance in the middle of the streets.
I did that.
I
I
traded
did that
my
same
bike.
thing. I traded my
No
beloved
way.
because I wanted a this Lasonic boombox.
Lasonic.
Yeah.
I had the one with the big giant woofer with the little tweeter.
Yeah.
And you know what? We used to take one record and record it, and then wait till it comes on the radio again, and record it again and again. So we had it continuously playing.
We had it on the loop. We
Yeah.
had it on the loop. Waiting for the pause button.
Yeah.
Well, I heard somewhere a track said, the pause button, the pause mixtape thing came from B-Boy.
Yeah.
They were the first guys to do that. So
I mean, again, I'm 13, 14 years old. I was already doing it.
Yeah, nah, yeah.
And not only that, after that show, well, actually before that show, okay, Africa Bambaataa offered us a gig with him in Boston, in Club New York. And,
No, we already had the suits, no?
Yeah,
no, I know that. No.
That was
Wait,
after.
I'm gonna talk about my father's van.
Okay, but that was after.
Yeah, we didn't have tickets or any money to get to Boston, so we went and borrowed my father's van.
And we all climbed in there. And
And we all climbed in the van
Mhm.
and drove to Boston. And we
to do
had
the
a
show.
gig every Friday in Boston with Africa
Club New York.
Bambaataa.
that's
Club
dope.
New York. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope. Okay, so I think one last question. I've got to ask you guys: do you think back in the '80s when they were doing documentaries on you guys, do you think they conveyed your message in what you guys stood for in the proper context?
No.
Or do you think that
I don't think so.
Nah, no way.
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of it was repetitious.
Yeah. I think that goes across the board here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they only
I know
looked at one perspective
That's
and didn't
it.
really
Yeah. Not even
show
the
the
movie.
full artistry of what you guys
Not
did.
even the movie,
I think they saw us as just, the monkey with the jukebox,
There you
as
go.
performers.
Yeah.
You know, and
They saw
yeah,
us as a stepping stone for them.
If that. But
Let's
again,
wait a minute. Like I said, we got used because first of all, for them, like to be on a president show, look at what I did. Vote for me. I took some kids off the street.
Right.
So they thought they were doing some like unison.
Right.
Like,
Look at what
helping
I
the
did.
natives,
It's
you
all
know.
about
We
creating
are
a perception.
giving. Wait a minute. We are giving to the community.
Yeah.
We took these kids off the street.
like some borderline politicians.
So vote for me because I took these kids
And you're
off
doing
the
it.
street.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're doing
So
the rock
I
parade
think
there,
I
right?
think what happened was we got used. Like I said, a stepping stone
Yeah.
for them.
So I think that did happen. I wouldn't say it happened with that because we were already professionals. We were already established. People already know who we were. So
that's true.
I have to disagree with you, Noel. No, you're wrong. Yes, it did happen where I know we did get used once or twice. Yeah, I know that did happen.
It's the 80s.
But for that show, I mean, when you have Frank Sinatra writing you a letter and inviting you to do a show, I don't think we were a stepping stone for anybody. I think they knew exactly who we were, and they respected us. I mean, like, we were in the green room with Tony Randall, Elizabeth Taylor, Lou Ross, a Wonder
Tony
Woman.
Randall.
Yeah, like
Lou Ross is my cousin.
Oh my God, you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
That's awesome.
I got like 5 pictures with him. I loved him.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like, dude, nobody, you know, like, think about it.
That's true. It was a big deal.
You know, yeah, we rubbing elbows
Imagine
with all
we
these
were
people.
literally invited to
You
the
know,
White
so
House.
yeah,
the
we were
following
invited.
day.
So you guys were like the first
Yes.
group out of hip hop culture in the
Yes.
space of celebrity.
Yes.
Not a celebrity.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine we were actually
another
having-
thing that no one else can really say.
No,
did
and listen
before
to
that.
me. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure if you had somebody else here from another crew, they would try to like defend themselves. No, it's listen. Again, it comes about being truthful. No, come on, brother, we did it. We did the tribute for Catherine Dunham. Look at the standing ovation that we get. Look who's in the audience when the camera's panning. Who do you see?
Yeah.
Reagan.
Look who introduced us,
The Caesar
Right.
dude, what's his name?
Yeah.
Sid Caesar.
dude.
You know,
Everyone
I was watching the video
there.
literally like 5 days ago.
Everyone was there.
Yeah.
And again, they weren't just sitting there, they got up. As we ran off the
There was
stage.
one
Standing
lady.
ovation,
There was
yeah.
one lady that just looked at you guys and shook her head.
That was Catherine Dunham.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
they-
tribute was to her.
Yes.
Right,
And
right.
she and her look and she's shaking her head.
And
saying,
she's
"Oh,"
blowing us kisses.
that said,
Right.
you know what? These are kids.
Yep.
That that created this.
She saw the
something that
passion.
we
Yeah.
something that we negate the power of what the youth create, especially from a place that you're not even supposed to be in those seats or
Brother,
even
you're
be on the high
100%
stage.
correct.
That's
And
right.
that's why they brought us in for her.
Yeah.
Because we were her when
So,
she started.
I'll say
Right.
this. I know I gotta take Flip Rock. He's gotta get going. But I'll just say this. I see it, and I agree with everybody for the most part. I just see it a little bit different. What I see happening is you have the people that are telling the story of this culture are not from this culture. And with all due respect, they were able to document it through photos and videos, so I give them respect. But with all due respect, Martha Cooper's not from this culture. Harry Shafan is not from this culture. Michael Holman is not from this culture. We were the kids from the culture that they were learning from. And it's unfortunate that the only information that's coming out of these museums are from them, not from us.
Like they
And I hope
discovered
that
something.
changes.
Like
But you know, you guys
discovered
are kids. It's tough to have that vision to see where we're at now.
We're
and to
not,
see
we're
that
not
back
kids
then.
now. And we're still alive.
Yeah.
And see, that's one of the things that I find like that what makes it so different because of like when it goes to like the Olympics and all that stuff. Like we had a conversation with this guy Steve, who was pretty much like the I'm not sure if he's the creator, but helped create, but Silverback.
Yeah.
And his whole vision was like he loves breaking, he loves the community, but he has a heavy understanding of business. So he was trying to teach a lot of b-boys the business side of it,
Right.
so that way what happened in the 80s don't repeat itself.
Right.
But there happened to be a certain character within who did some shady stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. So that kind of destroyed things
Yeah.
for a bit. But the Olympics, so we have a video on Instagram where we met up with him and we looked at Instagram. Is this that basic? I mean, not Instagram. The Olympics.